Good morning. Happy Saturday, Easter weekend. I hope you guys are all having a great Saturday. Good morning, everybody. So I'm excited to have our morning live show with you this beautiful morning. And we are talking about one of my favorite topics today. If you caught the thumbnail here on YouTube, we're talking about bone broth and its amazing immune boosting power. I have not yet done an official video on this, so I'm really excited. And I've got a little Easter inspiration. And in fact, we have an Easter giveaway. So stay tuned through to the end of this video. I'm going to be sending you this packet. They're these cute little, I don't know if you guys can see these little Easter bunny earrings. Obviously, these are very female in orientation. Sorry, men. If we choose a male winner, I'll send you a lip balm. And I actually have some beard wash. And then, so these are the little bunny earrings that I'm giving away to one lucky winner. So please do hit the like button, share, do a screen grab Instagram, and please share this on your stories. Good morning, everybody. I had the little mini iPad that I was going to try and queue up Facebook because Gabriel's been using that in the mornings. I can't remember my Facebook password. So that's the kind of morning we're having here. Good morning, everybody. I am going to attempt to quickly grab this video and share it with our Facebook community and hope you will too, because it definitely does help support our efforts here in just growing our community. We hit 271,000 subscribers. So we are a very strong community, an international community. So let me know in the description box below, where are you tuning in this beautiful Saturday spring morning, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. And just let us know where you're tuning in from. I always love to get a sense of where everybody is located because it's pretty fascinating. We have folks from all over the world, all different time frames, different languages that we all collectively come together to learn and educate and just really be healthier individuals. So I want to highlight my shirt. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is I'm going to be wearing a whole bunch of fun, tongue-in-cheek shirts. This is a Namaste 6 feet away shirt. And I have the Etsy store. This came yesterday with this really cute. How cute are these little instructions? And our friend at Erin Williams over in Little Rock, Arkansas. So fantastic. I'm so excited. This is so my type of shirt. So if you guys love it, I actually have a link to her store. You can support her. These come in, I think, 12 or 13 different colors. Super, super soft. I obviously washed it last night. And I'm very excited. I don't know if Sarah's on the feed yet, but my face mask, the first face mask that arrived is what my friend Sarah makes. And I have a link for her masks. She put in an adjustable wire here, and this actually has the ability, so it's 2 layers, and she has an insert here where when my mask filters, I can insert those in. And they have done tons of studies. This type of material, it's a thicker material, 2 layers, and it has an adjustable, so I can push down. That's adjustable. See, it kind of stays. So when I tie it, so one of the things that some hospitals have actually done in face masks, I'm going to do a specific face mask video. What they found is that the adjustment here allows for greater cinching and minimized flow of particles. But then also the tie gives you a much graded adjustment. So let me just do this. And you can see, you can tie it and get it as tight as you need to. So much more adjustable. And this ties on the bottom like that. Love this. And Sarah actually has cute Easter designs. She is a bunny rescuer. And she just lost one of her cute little buddies, Marco. But she and her mom are 2 favorites of mine back at home in St. Pete, Florida. So her Etsy store, you can totally support her. And she's fantastic. So Sarah is awesome and beautiful. Isn't this a beautiful design? So really, really excited to show you that. I've been wanting to showcase my my masks when they finally arrive. So I'm going to shoot. Oh, Instagram looks like we're having a bad connection. Let me move you. Sorry, Instagram. I think our internet, it seems like every morning pretty much also through the week. Our internet, I have business speed and it still runs really, really slow, especially with YouTube. You guys, I know, have had some challenges. All right, so I'm posting to Facebook and then we'll get right on into our news. So first of all, I want to ask, how's everybody doing? I see a lot of folks on, and happy Easter. Yeah, Tarangi, it's so pretty. And it has little bird and then flowers. And she has several beautiful designs. And her mom make Gabriel stuff all the time. So, and today on tap, I'm drinking my bone broth. I actually got this really warm. I kind of forgot. So I got a little boil. So I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. But I'm talking this today about bone broth, why it's important, how you can make it at home, the brands that if you can't make it at home, because, a lot of us don't have bones just laying around, what products and bone broths I like and prefer and recommend. I also have some coupon codes, and we have an Easter giveaway. Earrings. I'm giving these cute little earrings away with the lip balm. So stay tuned, tune in, share, like, aren't they cute? Okay, so can you tell I love Easter? All right, so let's get kicking. Some news here on Saturday morning. We surpassed 500,000 cases here in the US. The data is that less than 1% of our population has been tested. So that's pretty substantial when we look at other countries. Obviously, other countries are about the size of New York. New York, I think, is at 170,000 cases. And that basically means we have really no sense of who all has had it. We are looking at antibody testing, trying to really have some sort of a semblance of some organization when it comes to this. So I just don't know what we're going to do long term in terms of how do we figure out who's had it, who has immunity, who can go back to work. But at this point, we've had the highest rate of mortality. Yesterday, we surpassed over 2,000 deaths. The question is, are we at the peak in some areas? Like, is New York peaking? Are they at their peak? I want to also announce that one of our family members, one of my younger cousins, I was like 8 or 9 when she was born, and our family's really close to our family. Kristen is a frontline nurse. So she's actually getting her PhD, her doctorate in nursing right now at the University of Florida. But she's been a nurse in Sarasota for several years. And she signed up for a 5-week assignment, and she's going into, like I call it, the gates of hell. So, the fires of hell up in New York. So she's actually going up to, I think it is, she's going to a hospital in Brooklyn, and she's going to be, her and another girl that they work with, they're going to be relief workers. So they are going to help relieve the nurses up there. It's quite an amazing contract, and they've put her up, or have organized some housing. They pay for housing, and they also, I have to plug Instagram in. Hold on, Instagram. My cell phone is running a little low. I didn't plug it in last night. Oops, sorry, you guys. Hold on, Instagram. Stay with me. I hit the wrong button. Okay, sorry, you guys. Gotta figure out how to get this all set up. Okay, we are on. Okay, it's a little crooked. Sorry, I'll unplug it in a minute. It just needs to get a little juice. But yeah, so I'm very proud of her. If you guys follow me on Facebook, I'm actually going to forward on a personal Facebook message onto my community, my Facebook group, which if you aren't following, do follow. It's at Your Natural Health Resources. That's our Facebook group. But I definitely want, there's apparently been a lot of kind of conversations whether she's being fully supported by the family, but anybody who steps up is a warrior in my book. And she has a 5-year-old daughter, and she is just demonstrating heroism at its finest. And I'm just so proud of her. So she needs lots of healing energy, and we need to make sure she's fully protected up there, as with all of the other workers. So, but that is happening. There are a lot of relief companies. I used to do healthcare staffing, so I get the business side of it. But there are a lot of nurses, doctors coming in, respiratory therapists, PTs. They're relieving some of the staff that are getting sick, because that is happening. But going back to the peak, the question is, Texas and Florida, it looks like their peak. they might hit peak at the end of April. So the idea of May 1st, we're all back to normal, I don't see how that's possible. But they're saying that if we do try and go back to somewhat of a normal, we'll probably have a peak again in July. So we just have to practice staying 6 feet away. Namaste, 6 feet away, and actually more than that with our masks. So do buy your masks. And as I recommended yesterday, if we can be a rainbow in somebody else's rainy sky, if you are getting deliveries at your houses, and if you have, obviously most of us have mail carriers, if you don't have a PO box specifically, but I put little care packages together out at our front door, and I have a care package set up for our mail carrier to keep them healthy and safe, because they're doing us great work, as are any of our folks that are getting prescriptions for people or food. So do definitely consider doing that. There have been, I just learned, I don't know if you guys are fans of Burning Man or have ever gone. I haven't, it's on my bucket list, but they apparently have canceled the Burning Man concert in the middle of the desert at the end of August. So it runs from August 30th to September 7th. That's been canceled. They're anticipating that they're going to need to take heed even in August. So I think that's telling. So that's the mask. Kim wanted to see it. Isn't that beautiful? And so on the inside, so it's 2 layers. So she has this kind of, it's hard to see. You guys can see it's a little printed. And then up here, do you guys see it's a little kind of serrated? She uses a different scissors, but that's the insert. And so what they found is 2 layers of good thick material. And this is a very thick material. This is not like one of those like t-shirt materials, and those are great. But this has been found to be most effective. And then it has an adjustment. So I've got links down below. DM me, all of you on Instagram, if you want me to give you Sarah's link. She is ready for big orders. So make sure you grab 2. When these are washable, I washed it last night. So, have one that you're washing, one you're wearing. You want to cover everybody in your family, any family members that are in nursing homes or frontliners or whatnot. You can also wear this over, this can be decorative over N95s or surgical masks, which, by the way, I found some in my office, and our FedEx and UPS guys have been grabbing those, which I'm glad. Okay, so let's see. All right. One other bizarre kind of note. A super remote indigenous Amazonian tribe has their first case of this virus. And it's a 15-year-old boy who is now in one of the main Brazil cities, and he's in ICU, I believe, on ventilation. So that just tells us how expansive this is. Now, if you watch any documentaries, or there was one, I think it was one of those like Dirty Money episodes where it talks about like the mining and the drugs and all that. Well, the Amazon forest is getting deforested quite at an alarming rate. So I'm an enviro, tree hugger person. And so I keep up on that. One of the things that's happening is you have miners and you have individuals who come from the city, come in to these remote areas. And there's a possibility that the 15-year-old had some cross-contamination, cross-exposure. But the challenge is that these Amazonian tribes have zero immunity. They've had issues in the past with measles and pox viruses. And I mean, their immune system is ill-equipped, which is just awful. So pretty awful. But yeah, so that's our news. And I just kind of, Easter season for all of us is on. By the way, we're in Passover. Happy Passover to all of my viewers and friends who are following Passover and celebrating it. And then also for all of us who are celebrating Easter this weekend. This is springtime. We start thinking about new life and rebirth and all this stuff. And, I wrote down 3 things. It's like, what is our new way of life? And like last night, I put Gabriel down, Brian's family had a Family Feud game night. Like Zoom is becoming a new way of socializing. And some of my friends, Sunday night, we have a little Zoom happy hour scheduled, but we're doing meetings in this type of format, which is probably a lot more prevalent. I mean, look, Matthew McConaughey jumped into a bingo game with a whole bunch of seniors. We're moving where meetings and socialization, happy hours, family gatherings are now digitized or in a digital format. And we also have apps. Our phone, our little pads now come equipped with all these amazing apps. Kids are learning. They're learning more through apps. They're doing Zoom calls. We can now order things online. We can order our groceries through a function. We also can participate in our church and our religious services, which, by the way, please go online versus going in public, going in person to your church service this weekend. And then also social distancing. While we are distant, I feel like there are more connections. And I don't know if you guys are feeling that way, but that was just kind of my Easter weekend inspiration. But I want to talk to you about today's topic, which is an extremely dense, mineral dense, vitamin, nutrient dense, bioavailable immune booster that you can make at home very easily. You can order online, social distancing. And if you are ordering groceries, there are some stores, and I'll share the ones that I find have the items that I love to consume in this bone broth category. And so bone broth is something you guys have seen me a lot. I drink this quite a bit. When I was prepping for the wedding that we had to postpone because of this virus, I was drinking about 3 glasses of this a day. This was part of my morning keto program. And so a lot of times I will just drink one of these first thing in the morning. And they are really wonderful. And I really want to go into how bone broth can be a very powerful at-home addition to your immune supportive, immune boosting, immune modulating, immune regulating programs. Many of you have joined me in the live, which, by the way, if you're loving this topic, excited, give me a thumbs up, hit the share button, and welcome to all of you new who are watching. I hope you'll join, hit the subscribe button. Instagram, please follow me if you are new joining us. I tune in every morning at 9 a.m., except for tomorrow. I'm taking a break. EB duty. As somebody had mentioned yesterday, the Easter Bunny is an essential worker. So the EB duty's here. We're apparently expecting rain. So we're going to have to do all of our Easter egg like hunting inside. This is going to get really crazy. So anyway, I'm doing that essential task tomorrow morning, but I will join back with you on Monday. So every morning now for almost 4 weeks, I have been bringing you a live news show where we talk about health and wellness tips to keep you and your family healthy and safe during this perilous time. And bone broth, I drink pretty much every day. Sometimes you see me drinking it on camera, and other times I'm drinking it with like my private community when we did a live last Sunday. So I love bone broth, and I have loved it before it was faddish. I have loved making it before you could even buy this. So I've been a consumer and a lover for a long time, but I want to share with you why it's good, and then also tips on how to make it, and then also where to buy it. So that's kind of what I'm going to cover today. This bone broth comes in a lot of different forms. So it comes in, like, this happens to be my frozen item. And this is one of my favorite brands. It's called Bonafide. It's a keto broth. I don't heat it up in this container. This comes in the container and the broth is inside. I just, again, my thoughts on, I don't use a microwave and I don't like these type of plasticky things. So, that's a toxic thing. It's not beneficial. You consume good stuff. You want to heat it up. So I put, I thaw this out. I dump it in one of my steel pots or whatever, heat it up on our gas stove, and here we go. And it's delicious. And it literally tastes just like Thanksgiving morning smells. And it's got a lot of butter to it. This happens to be an MCT oil. So they put MCT oil in it, butter. There's some spices. There's a lot of varieties of that. But bone broth comes in that type of form where it's frozen and you heat it up and it becomes liquid. There are non-frozen versions that you can heat up or add to your beverages. There are boxes, and I didn't even grab the powder, so I'm not a big fan of the powders. So I'm gonna keep that kind of set aside. But I have it if I need it, and there are some cases I will use it in certain foods. But that's how you can get bone broth. When you make it, it's on the pot. huge pot that you're boiling and you're simmering for hours, sometimes days. Like mine is about 31 to 33 hours. So it takes a lot of time. It is very labor intensive. And because of that, if you are limited with time, space, all that stuff, it's best to buy. And online, I have some coupon codes for one of my favorite brands. But let's talk about what's in it. So basically bone broth is a soup, if you will, that the main ingredient are bones. It could be chicken bones. It could be beef bones. It could be turkey bones. It could be, venison bones. It could be any type of animal bone. And the animal bone basically includes the inside of the bone, which is the sweet spot. That's the marrow. That's where a lot of good stuff comes from. That's what we would consider our kind of rejuvenative source as humans. Think about animals. That's what they always go to. Like we get the marrow bones for our dogs and they eat the inside of the marrow. Very nutrient dense. It also includes ligaments, cartilage, especially the chicken, the stuff that like, it freaks me out. I don't like touching it. I certainly I don't do meat on the bone. I'm a weird, I don't like eating animal products a whole lot. But I do consume bone broth way more than I do any other animal-based product in our lives. It also can contain organs. So if you do get turkey or any type of animal, big kind of like chicken or turkey whole, keep that bag of organs, keep it frozen, and then you can use that to put in your pot because there are a lot of good nutrients in that. You also get the cartilage. I mentioned that, the ligaments, sometimes even the skin might be a part of it if you don't consume it. So that is what you're going to boil up. And that is what is boiled up when you get a bone broth in a liquid form. The powder is dehydrated. Do you lose some of it? Yeah, I just don't know the degree with each different brand. But I do know that this is the key. Now, some of the byproducts, there's going to be a lot of gelatin. There's collagen. There are essential amino acids. We'll cover what that means and why that's really critical. There are minerals. There is also a degree of protein. There is glucosamine, chondroitin, obviously from the joints, those ligaments. And you also get just some really powerful anti-inflammatories. Now, I choose to add things to my bone broth. So I just don't put in bones. I also will save some of the vegetables, some of my greens, the tops of carrots and things that might not be edible for us, but I will have that and I use that as a way to get extra mineral density and vitamin density. I also pull out my kelp and dulse flakes and I put those in because I need as much iodine as I can possibly get in food form. It's how I try and balance my body, and this gland is the gland that I have to balance the most in my life. And so when I get good healthy iodine through food sources, it's great. I also will add in on occasion, I didn't do it this morning, but sometimes I'll add in as I'm warming this, my Maine Coast kelp salt flakes. So I just really try and enhance that intake of iodine. It's very low calorie. So this is pro keto. So any of you doing keto, this is a great way to power punch and keep your minerals, your essential amino acids, and all of these essential nutrients, how to increase those. So if you're loving this, hello everybody. If you love this, give me a thumbs up. You're excited about this content, and hit the share. I'd appreciate that. It really helps us. I just love bone broth. So low calorie. It will rev up our immune system. And I'm gonna dig further into that. It's anti-inflammatory. So all of my autoimmune disorders, all my lipedema patients, folks with RA, the rheumatoid arthritis, MS, lupus, folks with joint pain, general arthritis, inflammatory states of the bronchial. So asthma patients, folks that have even kidney dysfunction, it can be powerful at balancing. Heart disease as well, because there are some nutrients in here that are very pro cardiovascular health. There are also nutrients in here that are good for balancing diabetes and glucose intolerance, which if you're catching where I'm going with this, Those are two of the three underlying health conditions that are landing people in the hospital and needing oxygen and having ventilators. So we already know the top three health conditions. There's actually four, but the top three, they are diabetes, heart disease. So that could be high blood pressure, it could be history of heart attack, valve replacements, arterial sclerosis, any type of heart condition, heart disease. The third is going to be lung disease or any type of lung inflammation. The fourth, which is the big one in the ICUs, is renal failure. And there's a connection between the renal failure and the diabetes. So we can address in one cup all of those, which I love. Again, I want to try and give you powerful, impactful information that you can use to equip your body and to keep you healthy and safe. So by the way, for all of you who might be new and joining, this is one of my Etsy finds from our wonderful friend. Her name is Erin Williams, and I've got a link to her store. You can support her. She's a local small Etsy shop. We love her. She created this online, and she has several different shirts. This, I think, is like the royal blue color. Super, super soft. And then also my friend Sarah on Etsy. These are great masks. And so I welcome you to support her. If you haven't grabbed your mask, the ones that have the ties are proving to be better in terms of their ability to for adjustment to your face, because everybody's face is different. We have round faces, hard faces, oval, square faces. So this is huge. Okay. And children can drink bone broth. Gabriel doesn't like it straight out. He's gotten weird about bone broth, but it's so good. I just love this brand. But I'll tell you how I use it. So let me go through, stick around with me, friends. I'm going to tell you all of the reasons why this is a pro-immune supportive. And then I'm going to share with you how I use it, because I get really creative to sneak this stuff in. So most of the time, honestly, both Brian and Gabriel have no clue, like all the things I sneak into their food, but they are eating healthy and they don't, they're none the worse than not knowing. But it's definitely my magic sauce in terms of how I get these items into their diet. So I've mentioned it's an anti-inflammatory. So I've also mentioned that it can rev up your immune system. The way it does this, there's 3 essential amino acids. It has other amino acids, but the 3 that are critical are glycine. That's a big one. Glycine. They have arginine and glutamine. That's another big one. And then proline. Most of the time you haven't heard of proline. You've probably heard of glutamine, arginine, if you're trying to stay away from having like a herpes outbreak on your mouth, you're aware of arginine. But proline is a big one. So let me break those down. So proline has been proven to soften your arteries. It keeps your arteries flexible, malleable. That's great for high blood pressure, because sometimes high blood pressure can cause those to be in kind of a stiff state. Also, arterial sclerosis causes that hardening. There's the plaque that's actually bone matter, which I can dig into at another time. But proline's great for our heart health. It's also fantastic for skin. So one of the things that proline does is it helps articulate in, the fine line wrinkle areas, here, our neck. I know a lot of patients they hate their little turkey, necks or waddlers, whatever they call them. But it enhances the ability to absorb and articulate collagen. So that's proline. That's one of the essential amino acids. Glycine, this is common. And actually, it's in the REM sleep product. I mentioned this a little bit the other day. Glycine is very powerful at reducing inflammation, but also what has been proven to do, and this has been clinically assessed, it can help regulate blood sugar levels. So for diabetics that are having high glycemic scales, or you get up in the morning and you take your blood sugar and you notice it's 110, 120, maybe 140, bone broth can be really good for that. You can take this in the evening to help support the body throughout the night so you have better levels in the morning. But this would be something I would recommend. Oh, thanks, Donna. So So that's huge. And the other thing that glycine does is it's very supportive of our pituitary gland. So pituitary is this little funky looking gland that is like a dipstick, and it measures hormone levels in our blood. So every second there's blood passing by the pituitary gland, and it's measuring all different types of levels. And it's like, oh, we need more estrogen. Oh, we need more testosterone. Oh, we need more HGH, human growth hormone. Well, it can be very supportive. Drinking this with the glycine in it is very supportive of helping the pituitary gland actually manufacture or call up manufacturing of or regulating our human growth hormone. So if you want something that's anti-aging, that is what bone broth does. And this is not some new age thing. I mean, we are talking like early ancestors, early cavemen, cave women have been using bone broth since the beginning of time. You know, they used to utilize every aspect of an animal carcass when they would have a kill for the family or the community. They would use every aspect of it. Bone broth was derived then. We now have been able to scientifically prove how that was beneficial and how it kept people healthy. And we see this also in indigenous communities. They have some version of a bone broth or stew that they make. The other thing that this has, the other essential amino acid, is arginine. And I mentioned that a little bit before. Arginine is one of these things that a lot of times people get really nervous about because if it's not balanced with lysine, we might have greater instances of, a herpes outbreak. Well, and this includes shingles. So I've had a lot of you tell me I'm experiencing a shingles outbreak, it's stress, or I'm having acne or whatnot. Like our body starts to respond to this. So it's just an indicator your immune system needs a little revving, needs a little balancing, it needs a little support. Bone broth would be the way to do that. And arginine actually, for the diabetics and the renal dysfunction that we see, I showcase, let's see, I have all of my charts here. I want to show you guys. Do I have it here? Let's see. I try and keep up. I think it's over here. I try and keep all of my paperwork all organized. Yeah, here it is. So 2 weeks ago, or maybe last week when the first MMWR came out, that I highlighted, this was February and most of March. They identified the most cases for individuals needing to be in an ICU and under ventilation. Chronic renal disease was number one. And what that means is the kidneys get starved by the attack of the lungs and the lack of oxygen, but also kidneys are already under stress if you have diabetes. So that co-relative disease, those two diseases, and they're two collectively together, one can beget the other, cause the other. And then you have just an overwhelming load and burden on the lungs, starves the kidneys, it causes even more challenges. So just this vicious cycle. So how can you minimize your need to be hospitalized? How can you minimize the degree of your renal disease? How can you support renal disease? And how can you support your kidneys? Well, the most powerful way is to add arginine. And this is not supplemental. This is like whole food based. And, this is a whole food. It's not plant-based by any means, but this is definitely more bioactive, more bioavailable. And you're going to be delivering all that good stuff. Oh, hey, Barelli's in the house. One of my good Instagram friends is that, which by the way, if you guys are on Instagram, follow Barelli. She's awesome for bar exercises. And she's so cute. She brings her kids in. So arginine is excellent for the kidney function. What needs to be studied more is also the correlation to heart health. But it does have a powerful benefit to the heart health. I just can't state like the clinical data specific because we need more research on that, but it's very, very powerful. Hugely powerful. Now, the other thing is a lot of people got on this kind of wave of drinking bone broth because of gut healing. So there've been a lot of books, there've been, people have put out great literature about all the powerful benefits of bone broth. It's often used in a GAPS diet, or folks have chronic inflamed digestive inflammation. They've got ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. Very, very powerful. And the gut, we know, is a root of our immune system. So that in turn also has a connection to our immunity. But for sure, the glutamine in it, that is the only type of supplemental, if you will, glutamine I'm in support of. Other than that, the next step up, if you want natural production of glutamine, is to do coffee enemas. I'm not a big fan of intaking glutamine because we know it just doesn't work. We just can't absorb it well. And there are some liposomals, but it's still the most potent version is here in a bone broth. And so Paula and everybody, I know you're curious, what bone broth should I take? I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover the ones that I love and also how to use bone broth in your daily lives. So powerful. Okay, so let's talk about specifically how to make it. Okay, so if you were to make it at home and you've got extra bones laying around, you'd get one of your big pots. You'd use filtered water. So I use our Berkey water filter. Fill up the pot, throw the bones in. You can throw, like, the best way, and a lot of people will do this. They will also, at different Asian markets, they will grab chicken claws and, I mean, a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I don't always do that. I generally use what we've got. And this could be fish bones. It could be any type of bones that you might have had. So just know that you can get those also at your local farmers market. Some of them are local growers. You want to make sure you're getting grass-fed beef, if you are, or any of the kind of natural sourced animal bones, because obviously where a lot of toxicity would leach itself or be in would be in the bone matter, in the bone marrow. And so you want to make it as clean as possible. So you fill up your pot as high as you can, add in a whole bunch of, veggies that maybe you frozen that were going to go bad. You're like, I'll just use this for my bone broth pot. That's what I have. I have like just everything. It's just literally like my kitchen sink. So it's just put everything in there. I have been known to put onions, garlic, tons of turmeric, pepper. I'll put in, garlic, ginger. And then I put every vegetable in that I might have. Generally, the vegetable that I don't often put in, I just don't want it in my bone broth. And also, Brian's really sensitive to tomatoes. So I don't put tomatoes in, but I'll put all my greens, and especially when I get the garden kicking, I'll have a lot. Okay, so that is how you make it. And you add in about a half a cup to a cup, depending on the quantity of bones. But then you add in apple cider vinegar. So you need a vinegar to open them up. And essentially, I put it to boil. You boil the whole pot. And as soon as it hits to a boil, then you simmer it, and you let it simmer up to about 48 hours. My sweet spot with the type of bones that I use is about 32 hours. And this is consistent. Like, it's going at night, I stir it up a little bit, but it is constantly in a boil simmer. And essentially, when you get to like hour 22, when you start stirring, the bones just start to break and to start to disintegrate. That's when you access the power of bone broth. That's the difference between, what we call a bone broth versus a stock. Chicken stock is not as dense in terms of that. The other thing too is when you're done with your boil, I let it cool down, and then I do two type of strainers. I use a thicker strainer, and then I have a thinner strainer to really get out any of kind of the bone matter or whatnot. But then you just get your bone broth. And what you find is, as you cool them, I use my little mason jar. Sometimes I use the bigger ones. But as they cool down before I refrigerate, you start to get the gelatin. It congeals. That's the sweet spot. You want the stuff that's kind of gooey and like jello-y. And that's the big difference between good bone broth and like it's not full to its potential. And that's what I love about this particular like Bonafide. They also have a big frozen bag. But this is a little different. Like these are little Loquitos, but they have a big frozen bag, and they have beef, bones. I'm not a big fan of the beef bones. I prefer the chicken, but they have beef, they have chicken, and they have turkey. And I always have those. Like I've got several of those bags in our big freezer that came. It was a total disaster. The thing was completely broken. That's probably why Lowe's had it. But anyway, we have our little chest freezer, and I store all my bone broth in there. So just know that like that is key. Typically, Kelly, on the apple cider vinegar, it's about half a cup to a cup. I go a little bit more liberal because the vinegar itself is what helps to break up and access these essential amino acids. So you need an acid in there. Yeah, so 22 hours, it can be a lot. Now, you could probably, there is an Instapot. I have not done an Instapot recipe, but I know people can do it. It's obviously a lot less. The pressured form, I'm sure probably is impactful. I would love to see the data of the difference between a long boil, long simmer versus an Instapot. I'm not totally sold on the Instapot, but I'm sure you could. Magdalene, new subscriber, welcome. It does simmer while I sleep. And I do know that there have been times Brian's turned it off. And because, the pot goes all day, it's still extremely warm by the next morning. So he tends to go to bed later than I do. So, if it misses 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours, it's okay. Just tune it up. Anaga, yay, you love the Bonafide frozen. Yeah, the Bonafide's great. All right, so we got lots of questions. I usually make my bone broth on a Friday night. So it's like, yeah, that's a great idea. So Taryn, you can use your weekends, but it's fantastic. All right, so that is how I use it. I always put some sort of sea vegetable in. So, dulse flakes, I like the whole dulse, like just throw it in. Like you can get those online, you get them at their natural stores. But again, because we're in a quarantine mode, everything is coming in through my front door. Usually I clean it, the boxes are outside. Let me share with you some of the other brands. I've mentioned a few. So my favorite is Bonafide. Okay. And this is frozen. So this is something I have yet to find where they would deliver to me. But I do get Bonafide at Sprouts. So my Sprouts Instacart shopper always gets me my bone broth, and like I refill. So this is where I'll buy like 3. There's a yellow label, like a darkish yellow. There's a red one, and then there's a blue one. I like the yellow and blue more than I like the red. The red's really intense with pepper and turmeric. I like the turmeric. I don't like the pepper. It's a little too intense for me. And generally, like my Bonafide, the big stock, depending on what I'm doing with it, and I'll share with you how I use it. We use bone broth every single day. So not only am I drinking this as a beverage, I'm cooking with it. And that's the kind of power. You can really, really bolster and fortify your body. Okay, so let me share with you my other favorite. It's Kettle and Fire. Okay, and I don't have just the straight bone broth, but I do have some of the flavor. So they do have like a lemongrass ginger faux. It's so good. So they have different, like you'll see the little red label if it's a cow, a beef product. And then I don't have the chicken one, but the chicken will be like a yellow. So you can tell like what bones you're getting. But they simmer for a minimum of 20 hours. The way they process this, they use all grass-fed beef. And there's a discount code. I think it's a 10 or 15% off. Let me see. It is, 15% off. So I have a coupon code and a link in the description box below. I buy these by the case or half case. So I'll buy 6 at a time. These are really good. These are great with noodles. They're great with stir fry. I'll use this as a stir fry base. They also have a chipotle beef. This is great for chili if you make chili. This makes a good chili stock. And then they ventured into another space. So they are doing soups. And this is by far my favorite. You guys know I lived in Japan for a year. I love the flavor. I love ramen soup. Not like the cheapo, yucky, version that we think of in America. But this is a bad boy. This is a miso soup. Miso is so good for your body. Miso is just this amazing fermentation. They put it in a chicken broth, a chicken bone broth. You're going to get 11 grams of protein just by consuming this alone. And then you add in anything else, like we'll add in our protein dense gluten-free noodles, and we've got 20 grams of protein in a lunch soup. But let me tell you what they've got. They have filtered water, bone broth. They put organic miso paste in it. And miso is a fermented soy. It's got a very intense flavor if you like it. There's some soy sauce, seaweed powder, bing, ding. We're getting our iodine in that. Very powerful. They don't even record the iodine, but it's definitely, you're going to get it. Ginger, onion, and there's a little salt. This is so good, friends. I make my own ramen and it's fantastic. Love, love, love this. And miso is good. The one thing with miso, if you have any type of soy allergy, you'd want to avoid miso. In intense food allergy. Now, if there's some sensitivity, a lot of the sensitivities here is American soy. They avoid using GMO soy. And that's why I like that product. But just cautiously enter with miso because miso is soy derived. But again, you get a big power punch of protein with that. Then there's also brands like this. Now, this is expensive. The Epic Broth. I don't know if you guys can see that here on YouTube. And this has the congealed, like there's stuff that settles at the bottom. I don't know if you can hear that. Like there's a lot of stuff. It's not just liquid. There's good stuff. Gelatin, you got the collagen, it's all in here. And this happens to be one of these where it would be a heated beverage. So you could make this into this. I just probably you could do a few things. You could make 3 cups from this, and I just add a little bit of water just to make it a little, tend to make go a little bit longer. But like this is about $8. I think on Amazon. They call it a small batch. It's slow simmered, but it's fantastic. And these are their ingredients: chicken bones, so water, chicken bones, chicken feet. So you get that collagen. That's the good stuff in here. Chicken feet are really good for that. Onions, celery, carrots, garlic, the apple cider vinegar, sea salt. They add lactic acid in, rosemary and turmeric. Minimal, but powerful. This makes a really good gravy. I like this as a gravy because it gives us all those good kind of flavors. Love that. So I've got that. This you can get on Amazon. The Kettle and Fire. They have an amazing array of choices. And you can mix and match. So if you want to get 6, you could get 2 misos. Oh, I didn't mention this. The soups, they do a tomato soup. I love tomato soup. I don't eat it a whole lot. And I'm the only one in the family who loves it. And when I have fresh basil, I add that in, and I'll put in some organic croutons in the middle, and so good. It's so good. Yum. You guys, can you tell what I'm going to be having for lunch today? I'm probably going to have my tomato soup. So really, really love that. And I didn't mention like the skin, the nail, the joint health you get by drinking bone broth. So if you feel like your hair is thinning, it's not as thick, it's not as luxurious, feel like your skin's kind of dull, this is an excellent skin nutraceutical. Like you literally will be fortifying your skin from within. But then even further than that, it has anti-aging properties for our skin, but it also has that for our organs. So if you want to boost and bolster your organs and support your body, it's excellent for that. So if you're loving this, thinking about trying bone broth, give me a little thumbs up, hit the like button. For any new subscribers, I hope or new followers, or joining, any of you new joining, I should say. I hope you'll hit the follow and subscribe button and join us. Okay, so Donna, the one brand, it's called Epic, EPIC, and I've got a link, an Amazon link down below. So good. And so, try out chicken versus beef. Me personally, I prefer chicken and turkey over beef, but I know that I need it. And so there's some ways, like I'm not a big fan of sipping on the beef. I did it last week because I had one of them open. it's not my favorite. Again, I do things that aren't always lovely to consume because it's healthy. And sometimes we have to do that because our health is so worth it, not just for ourselves, but our family. So, but just try and see. My favorite, the one I love, I just love this. It is so delicious. Buttery. It's got a lot of good oil. I mean, it's 120 calories. You get 10 fat grams, 10 protein grams. It has 11% sodium. The only thing you have to watch is the sodium content with bone broth. What bone broth should one drink if you do not eat meat? Well, there is no bone broth. So if you are vegan or vegetarian, bone broth is very hard to create an alternative, unfortunately. So, I mean, you could take gelatin supplements and things like that, collagen supplements, but collagen comes from animals, and there really isn't anything comparable in the plant world. And that is why I'm not vegan or vegetarian. There are things that I feel we need from animals or consuming like a bone broth, but I'm not a meat eater. We don't cook a whole lot of meat, and I don't like it. If there's a meat that I'm going to eat, maybe chicken, very, very, rarely do I eat it. And it has to be organic, and I have to know who the grower, the chickens are running around in the field. And I will eat a great filet, but that's the only type of red meat I eat. I don't like meat on the bone. I grew up weird like that because my parents, they would eat meat every day, and I did not like it. But I like turkey. I do like chicken. I do like a little bit more of the gamier meats, the leaner meats, bison, love that. Okay, so my world as it occurs to me, I've been using bone broth for many years. However, is it better to buy those brands specifically? I've bought various brands. So I will tell you this, I have been a very scrutinizing consumer, and these are the brands that I feel like in order. If you can get frozen, the best one to get is Bonafide. So get that in frozen version. Next up, if you just want your basic bone broth, that would be like what you would make. I feel like Epic is the closest. It's a little bit expensive. You don't get a lot. So, they do sell like cases of 3 and 6, but it's expensive. So it's not cheap. And then Kettle and Fire is a really good one. If you also want some blends and you want some variety, different kind of things in it, they do have your standard chicken. They do have your standard, animal or your beef. But because I choose the Bonafide, I don't get that from Kettle and Fire. That's just my personal choice. But I do. I mean, I have like 8 of these in my cabinets. And then, I have the Chipotle. It's really good. Most of this stuff Brian doesn't consume because he just some of the flavorings he would like, but some of the ingredients don't agree with him. He's got a really kind of funky digestive process. Do I use Epic and throw it in a pan with filter water and simmer? Actually, so with Epic, you could either consume this straight like I do here, or you could water it down a little bit, but I wouldn't water it down a whole lot. Is beef broth just because the taste or a different molecule? For me, I think it's the taste. I have never liked the smell of raw meat. It just absolutely grosses me out. Yeah, so my wife doesn't like the smell, so I've been buying collagen online. I may try again with chicken bones post-meal. Yeah. Okay, so, Rob, thanks. Happy Easter. Okay, so let me share with you how I use these, because this is the critical factor. You can incorporate this in a lot of different ways in your daily lives. You're going to be spreading out the goodness. And this is where you might use this, maybe not to drink it. You might be able to just do a Kettle and Fire, but then you'd use this for other reasons. So you'd still be getting, you'd be kind of picking and choosing, like, how do you want to use some of the more expensive items? So it's totally up to you. It's based on your budget and also how you want to utilize it. But this is what I love. Warm drinks, just like this, in a glass, warmed up. Now, one of the things that happens, I don't know if you can see this. there's usually, with this particular keto one, there's usually stuff that will sit on the top, like as it's cooling down. So you might see me stirring it up a little bit. Usually I have a spoon, but because I don't want to make that noise while I'm talking to you all, I just kind of swirl it. And it's got a little butter, and sometimes it'll get this like little kind of like skin, you know how like coffee does, it gets like a little skin. Just kind of have to stir it up a little bit. So generally it doesn't take me an hour to drink this. But when I'm talking, I never eat or drink. So so this is, oh, Liz, yay, new YouTube member, welcome, private member. Okay, so this is a liquid, so warm drink. Then I use it as a base. I use it as a base for sauces and gravy. I do a ton of sautés. I use this as a sauce. So bone broth for me is my water alternative. I use it for everything. I use it for my pesto sauce base. I use it for my favorite goulash. That's like my comfort food. And bone broth, the beef is key for my I always have to have beef on hand, beef bone broth, because of my goulash. It needs that beefy flavor. This, I also have switched. I don't use any bouillon cubes at all. A lot of people will have bouillon cubes. They're really toxic. There's a lot of salt and a lot of like artificial flavors. So I actually will use bone broths in alternative to the bouillon cubes. I think that's how you say it. So I use those as an alternative. So it is a good flavoring if you need that kind of flavor, and it's natural. The other thing that I really, really love is that I will use it also to simmer my vegetables in. So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I hope you will. My Instagram is just the business name, Natural Health Resources. I posted the other day on my live stories how I was heating up some of we get the Pay It Forkward is our local like veggie produce delivery company. It's a little chef. She sources with local farmers. And so they delivered our veggies. We have tons. Like we had asparagus last night. Brian they had some local corn. They had broccoli. Like we have tons of stuff. And I divided a whole bunch of stuff and froze it. But for some of the stuff that I had, I did a little steam. I will put bone broth as my base. So instead of water, I steam my veggies in bone broth. And so they're going to absorb some of those nutrients. Oh, it's so good. Now, the other thing, I will use bone broth, and it depends on how much I have on hand. Like now, I'm being a little bit more aggressive with my consumption. Like I might be blending a little bit more water than normal because my access has declined and we're not shopping for it like I used to. So one of the things that I have is I will boil our gluten-free noodles and anything that needs to be boiled. Our rice, our couscous, our quinoa, our farro, some of our richer ancient grains. I will boil those in bone broth. So I'll use this, or like if I want a flavor, like this miso is an awesome flavor to couscous. And just that alone gives it its flavoring. You don't need anything else. Same with lemongrass faux. Love this. So that is kind of how I use it. And we're consuming all of those things throughout the day. In sauces, like for sure, it's going to be in any of my pesto or tomato sauces. Even if I don't need it, I just add it because it's got goodness to it. It's nutrient dense, and make sure that we get all those items in it. Oh, Rob, now I'm actually in my home studio office. So Rob's commented, it looks like a spa. Thank you. This paint color is definitely a continuation of color schemes that we have. So, but yeah, I'm in my home office. My shooting location's over there. It's a little messy right now. I have a whole bunch of video I need to shoot. I've been completely uninspired, you guys, in terms of shooting. I have more content than I even know what to do with in terms of shooting. I have content I have to edit, and I'm having one of those quarantine lack of motivation. All I want to do is be outside, hanging out with Gabriel, painting, Eastering, and gardening. So I'm just going with the flow. But okay, do I drink coffee? Yes, I do. Actually, my coffee this morning, my keto coffee is right here. But bone broth is definitely on tap. Usually it's in the morning or midday, like around 3. Instagram, you guys are going to come back on. So stay tuned. I'll pick you back up on the other. Oops, it just shut him off. I don't know why it does that. Okay, so let me save the story. Oh, hey, Gabriel. Do you guys want to see Gabriel? Gabriel, come here, buddy. Come here, honey. Okay, Gabriel's going to come say hi. Come here. You want to say hi to everybody? Oh, uh-oh. Oh, Instagram nearly fell over. Hold on, you guys. Gabriel, come here, sweetheart. He's been in a little quirky mood. He woke up. Actually, I woke up before him today. It's shocking. My child never sleeps. Okay, you know what? Let me fix this a little bit. Here, you guys get to see the back. You want to see inside of shooting. So this is a little tripod. And this darn thing doesn't ever stay straight. Okay, so this is what I put Instagram on my phone. Okay. Come here, buddy. I'm still shooting, Brian. Do you want to send him in here, please? Okay. Oops. All right. So let me get Instagram live. Let's see. Gabriel told me he's excited. This is cute. He's excited because the Easter Bunny is going to bring him lots of gifts. Like, oh, I have such a spoiled child. Oh, and by the way, Daisy, for all of you Daisy lovers, Daisy was so naughty. We were outside and I've transplanted one of my clematis plants. It had taken over in my garden. So we're out there and I'm on like, this is just a personal side note. So I'm on live chat with I'm FaceTiming with one of my cousins. And all of a sudden I see the dog's chasing something and Daisy has something in her mouth. Well, guess what? She grabbed a chipmunk. It looked like a baby chipmunk. I think he's okay. I threw toys at her. Gabriel's like construction toys to get her to release the animal. And it climbed up the pine tree and looked like it was in total shock. Hopefully it looked like she just had him kind of in the middle of her mouth. But that dog is the dog that hunts moles and voles in my garden, which I'm grateful for, but not when she grabs chipmunks. So poor little bugger. Okay, I'm bringing Instagram back. Hello, Instagram. Welcome back. Part 2. We're talking about the benefits of drinking bone broth today. And I was just telling all of you and here on YouTube how to consume this. So let me just run down for everybody just so that we kind of go over the ways to consume this. Warm drinks like this, you can use bone broth as a base. So you can use it as a base for gravies and sauces. This includes your pasta sauce, pesto sauce, sauce on a pizza, any type of sauce, taco seasoning. I didn't even mention that, like Taco Tuesdays. And adding water, I always use a bone broth. So really, really powerful. You can use it to boil up for, the boil. Instead of water to boil, you could boil bone broth or some combination, half and half, to make your rice and your ancient grains and couscous and things like that. So it's just a really powerful way to add extra nutrients, extra immune boosting properties, those key essential amino acids your body needs. And then also is very beneficial for fortifying your immune system and balancing your heart health, supportive of that, your kidney health, and it helps regulate blood sugar. So it's very powerful. The Kettle and Fire brand, we have a coupon code. So Instagram, YouTube has a whole description box in the description box below. So if you guys want to check out the description box, that's where all of the coupon codes lie. And as promised, I am ready to do a giveaway. So I'm going to do a little scroll. Hi, Anita. How are you doing? Let's see. I'm going to scroll. I'm just going to scroll through here. Okay. My world as it occurs to me is going to win our little Easter giveaway. So I'm going to put my email in here. But just to let you know, you have won. How cute is this? I got these from Joann's or Michael's the other day. That's what I'm wearing here, along with my little bunny ears. And this cute little bunny bag. We're making a whole bunch of cookies this weekend and giving them out to our neighbors. So, and lip balm. So that is for my world as it occurs to me. I'm going to put my email in the description box below. So email me your address. Oops, that's the wrong email. Let's see. Okay, so that's my email. And let's see, do you guys have any specific questions about bone broth? Hi, Amy, how are you? Yay, you love my ears. Thank you. Do you love my shirt? Isn't this cute? Namaste, 6 feet away. So my big thing now is I'm all about supporting our local stores, our shops. I didn't share with you guys the other day because I actually still have to clean the inside, clean the bag. But our local coffee shop has the cutest jewelry and they're selling them online. They're doing deliveries here locally, but I know they will put them in the mail. So I'll be wearing Monday when we come back, because tomorrow I'm taking a break for Easter from our live show. I will be wearing more of the earrings. They have these really cute ones that are very on brand for like natural resources, but I love. So super cute. So I'll be wearing those, and you guys can grab this shirt too. So they are selling this. Our Erin Williams, her little shop. It came with the cute, like how cute is this? It came with the cute little instruction. It was all folded nicely. She put in this cute little, wrap and like little sticker that said thank you. Just super thoughtful. So I have more fun quarantine-esque shirts coming. So at least as we're watching, you get a little laugh, get inspired. Let's see. Kim says, what noodles do you use in your ramen? So I use a Koyo, is one of my brands that I use. They also have really good soba noodles. And so sometimes I will do this. I'll warm it a little bit. I'll let it cool down, and I'll do my my summer noodles in those. But that brand I really like. I like their ingredients. Some of it is not going to be gluten-free, obviously, with some of the noodles that you get. But I really feel like those are the cleanest. There is one local ramen shop that has started selling the ramen noodles. So I'm a huge fan. Ramen's one of these things, like I'll just tell you the side note, because I lived in Japan for a year. I lived in Tokyo proper. And literally like outside of like when I'd wash my dishes in our little sink, you could see Mount Fuji. And so ramen's really big in the country, but it varies based on each, they call it prefecture, basically each state. So like northern island like Hokkaido, their ramen's very different. And so it's all about ramen. It really is very much about the broth itself is like one aspect. And then so like I actually add stuff to my broth. So I found a really good Trader Joe's like seasoning that I'll add some mushroom blend. So I'll add mushrooms in it. That kind of, for me, gives it more of that style that I like. But then also the ramen noodles themselves, like over there in Japan and even here in some of the different noodle shops, it's all about the noodle. And so the noodles are made and with all different types of flour mixes, and that really gives it the flavor. So the Americanized ramen, Daisy, I'll see if Daisy comes in. Nobody wants to. Oh, here she comes. Nobody wants to see me this morning. Come here, Daisy. You want to say hi to everybody? Here she is. Here's Daisy. Hi, puppy. She's a good girl. Although you caught I'm still mad at her for catching that darn chipmunk. But the ramen noodles themselves, like that, they are very flavor rich. So you can get some good ingredients in that too. I would love to try to make them, and I probably should while I'm in this space of being at home more. So stay tuned. Ramen is, it's a comfort food. And over there, like I have different foods that I really love. Some I've figured out and mastered how to make here, and others are just going to have to wait until I take my family over to Japan for a visit and see all my friends over there. Okay, so Donna says, if you use Epic brand, this one, do I need to add apple cider vinegar? No, you're fine. And add veggies as a soup starter. You could use it as a soup starter for sure. So if you do, like, what do they call it? There's some sort of cooking phrase where you do your butter and then flour, and then you add this. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, roux. You could use that as a roux for the roux or whatever. And two, like if you do any type of jambalayas, you could use this in it as well. Okay, so thanks for the ideas. Got to go shovel off snow. Oh my gosh, Alberta. It's actually quite chilly here. Yesterday it was really cold. I was wearing my flannel. I'm wearing my compression tights. I don't know if you guys can see. So it matches my shirt, but I'm having an issue with one of my veins. I don't know if it's seasonal or stress or might be both, but my one vein's been giving me some grief. And so I'm using my over-the-counter compression wear. And so I had my compression and my flannel pants yesterday as I was out gardening, and it was cold. It's breezy. So have fun shoveling. Joanne. Oh, thank you, Joanne. Okay. So yeah, love bone broth. I love it so much. And it's versatile. So you can do a lot. You can do a lot with it. Cooking wise, I also will use it in, like if I make any type of meatballs, like I love to use meatballs in Gabriel's diet to like add a whole bunch of stuff. So he'll get like kale and spinach and mushrooms and all sorts of stuff. And so I'll use that I use panko crumbs to keep my meatballs together. So I'll add that in just for panko, and my trick are panko, and I use chia seeds. And I won't gelatinize my chia seeds, but I'll add in a little bone broth as I'm mixing up the meat for the meatballs, and it congeals as they kind of set, and then when it cooks, so it keeps it bound. Is it a good idea if I take massive amounts of diarrhea for the bone broth? Yeah, I mean, honestly, liquids are not bad for diuretics. Depending on why you're taking a diuretic. I know I have a lot of lymphatic patients that get prescribed diuretics, and it does absolutely nothing to eradicate the lymphedema and the excess fluid their lymphatic system is holding. But it does not. Oh, Christine, yay. She says, your live is a great way to start my day. Thank you. Let's see, no winter in New Jersey. Yeah, it's been a weird, it's just 2020. It's been a weird winter. And then this year, it's like, I don't even know what we call this year. Okay, Justin says, I love kettle and fire bone broth. Actually, I did my moringa in it too. Oh, that's a great idea, moringa. Excellent. Thanks, Justin, for that. So you can do the moringa powder, and moringa I've talked about is so good. Anaga is using our cute emoji. I've created little emoji or badges and stuff for you guys, so you can use special natural health emojis. We actually have more. I just have to upload them. My one assistant did those. Yeah, so Daisy is a naughty girl. Daisy is truly, she uses all of her senses. I have one who's a slug and just sits in the sun. Daisy has this, they all are funny, but Daisy has a little sun perch. We have this kind of sloped hill. So we have like grass, and then we have basically a forest of pine trees and stuff. And the sloping of the hill, she'll just sit on she's beautiful. She sits like a little sphinx. And her little head's up, and her ears are like the bunny ears because she has huge ears. And she just sits there like on her little perch, assessing. And then she sleeps in the sun. They all sleep in the sun. So our emojis, if you hit the little emoji button, let me see if I hit the emoji button. Let's see, it does. Oh, so if you hit your emoji button at the very top, it'll say natural health resources. And I have 3 that we've added. I think I actually have some that are the emojis that we want to add. I think Ella did them for me, and we have a little bit more like health ones. And then I think we've done even like my face emoji. So they're fun. YouTube has added some fun features like that. So like I'll do the emojis if you want to see. There they are. Those are the 3 emojis that you can use in the chat. Okay, so let's see. Somebody says Allwood Jen. Hi, Allwood Jen. I add zucchini, psyllium, yep, and hemp hearts to my turkey meatballs. Love hemp hearts. I love those. I put those on the nut yogurts. I'll put them in and mix them up with like seeds, and oh, it's so good. Really good flavor. I remember I was one of the first retail stores in, oh, this is a great story, in St. Pete that would bring hemp hearts in. Hemp hearts were illegal because of hemp being where they were. Like I would get them shipped in, imported in from Canada. And a lot of times they'd get stuck at the border. And there was this one brand that I loved. And everybody, I mean, I had people, we had orders, we had like lists of people who are like, I need this chocolate bar. They used to make these like dark chocolate, acai, and then also blueberry bars. And they'd add hemp in the chocolate, but then they'd also sprinkle it on the top. Oh my gosh. And they came in these trays. And there was one time like customs had confiscated one of my huge orders. Gosh, that was so insane. That was before the first farm bill, I think of 2014. So hemp hearts were really hard to get. And they have a really beautiful nutty flavor. It's just really, really nice. But yeah, the United States did not want hemp hearts in, especially they were the seed version. So I think they literally thought people start growing their own hemp plants. Like that's possible. But yeah, but hemp hearts are fantastic. I totally forgot about that. That was insane. I'd get calls from customs. For folks that ran our front desk, like check people out and stuff. They'd be like customs calling. So I'd have to get on the phone with the local port authority and the Canadian border and be calling. It was insane. So anyway, lots of fun things. But anyway, so here's I know that we have our one lucky winner. So I'm going to be mailing this out today if I get your address. But also, friends, I just want to say, please do check out Sarah's masks down below. She's got tons of stock. I know basically every day I have to update and know with Etsy. I post a lot of links to stores that have sold out. Sarah is locked and loaded and she's got stuff ready to ship. So she's a fast shipper. She can get these out today and Monday to you guys so you can start wearing masks, but they're super cute. I have filters that are en route, they're in transit, but they're 5-layer carbon filters and they will easily slip through this little piece. I had asked her to make a filter slot for folks, but even if you don't do a filter, it has 2 layers. So this is the back layer. This is the front layer. This is actually upside down. But this is mobile. So she's got this little wire insert and you can actually move it around. Like I washed this last night. So this is it washed and it just molds to your nose and sticks in. And then you tie in the back and you tie this in the back too. And off you go with the mask. And so this is very clean. Washable is great because you can wash the any of particles that you might have picked up, but also protective. You can wear this over other masks. There's a lot of breathability. But the one hospital that I reported that actually did research on all these different masks that they had gotten from people sewing, they found that the 2 layers that were thicker layer, just like this, obviously the insert bolsters it, but these actually filtered out more than the blue surgical masks. So this is powerful. And Sarah lost her job. She is a super sewer and she has an Etsy store now. So I'm hoping you all support her. I love her to death. And her mom is awesome as well. So I'm sending you a cute little note, super sweet. And then the shirt comes from Erin Williams. Love her store. And I have a whole bunch more. I've got some tank tops coming. And so you guys will enjoy that next week. So those links are in the description box below. And how long will it take to get the mask? So literally if you place an order today, depending on if she can get it in the mail still today, but she has stuff. Like she messaged me last night as I got this. I was like, yeah, I got it. And she said, I've got extras. I'm all ready to go, ready to ship. So she'll ship it out today, depending on her mail carrier delivery. Like ours doesn't come until 3 or 4, sometimes even 8 or 9. Like it's all weird. And it takes forever for us to get mail here. But this, she's got these in stock. She has different colors and she has Easter ones. She has cute little bunnies, very spring-esque. Oh, our little chipmunk. Our chipmunk is eating from my bird feeder. I wonder if it's the one that Daisy got. It's really hard to tell. Well, he's the one that chitters at me and he gets really mad when we open the front door, and he'll try and trip us up too. So anyway, Donna, so yeah, I would, you know, with the mask, if you order from Sarah, you can message her direct. Like Etsy will give you, they post the tracking order or tracking transit. So I look in my orders on my Etsy app on my phone, and it'll say in transit or out for delivery. So you can tell, like I burnt Etsy up with our wedding, and literally it's my new favorite online shopping resource. And it really is great because it does support a lot of local businesses. The mask info for Sarah is in the link, and Instagram DM me and I'll send you a link as well. Yeah, mail's really backlogged, and I get it. Mom JD says, I love how with all this technology, the mail is our way to go. Yay, postal system. Totally. And by the way, take care of your postal service worker. If you've got extra gloves, I have the extra masks are for my people who deliver to us. They're doing us a huge service, and I'm going to pay them back. So I've got a mask for my postal worker. She's going to get a little kit. I've got gloves that I ordered. And like, we're talking not like surgical gloves, although I have those in a small, because of my work, I've ordered cases of those and have those upstairs. But like literally whatever I've got sanitizer. Those are things, if you can take care of your postal workers, one, they're taking care of us. They're doing a huge essential task. They're delivering us items that we're ordering. Please take care of them. And we need to make sure they don't get sick. And, think about like all of the, and this is stuff I think about, like, we have mailboxes at the end of our yard. So, they're touching all these mailboxes, and they're also putting the little flags down. Well, how many of my neighbors are actually going out there with gloves and protecting our mail carrier? Honestly, it's just those little things people aren't thinking about, that our mail carrier, I've seen, she's not wearing a mask, she's not wearing gloves. So I'm like, I'm going to get you gloves. And we put those out there. So, and I give her little snacks for the holidays, and they do take tips. Like if you want to support them with like an Amazon gift card, or, any way you can support them, this is the time to pay it back. So I'm just putting that out there. Just love your mail carriers, because they're essential workers, they're frontline, and we need them. We need them healthy, and we need them to keep doing what they're doing, because all of us, we're staying home, but we're often ordering stuff in the mail, and I am still shipping stuff out via the mail. And so she's supporting my business efforts as you all order tests, and I send you free stuff, and folks order the level 4 cream, and some of the like the vaginal rejuvenation stuff, like all of the stuff that I sell online that we ship from here, they're supportive of that. So I appreciate it. All right. So Magdalene says, thanks, Dr. Melissa. We'll be ordering some of the masks today. So great. Oh, good. Send me an email. All right, friends. So yay, can just order masks. Okay. So thank you all for your time. Happy Passover. Happy Easter weekend. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Celebrate you and your families. This is a season of renewal, rebirth, and we're just kind of growing into this new space. So I really appreciate each of you, and wish all of you a happy Easter. And every Easter bunny in every household is an essential worker. So make sure you take care of your Easter bunnies too. All right, friends, I will see you guys Monday. I'm taking a day off. I've been going almost 4 weeks in a row. So I will see you all bright and early Monday morning, and I will put out a poll sometime later today or tomorrow on YouTube about some topics, content topics for this week. Ideally, in a perfect world, if I could get organized and on the ball, I would have like what the schedule would be of what to expect every day. That's my hope. Then I could post it out there, and you could say, well, I'm going to tune in, or I'm not, or I'm going to wake up early or not. So at any rate, I really appreciate each and every one of you. I want to wish you all a happy Easter. I am grateful for your time, and you guys have kept me going through this craziness, because I get to wake up and talk to each and every one of you. So I really appreciate that. It makes me so happy that you guys are part of our community and really support each of each other as well. And let's give Pat Wagner and her husband, Ron, they are our moderators. I'm so appreciative of them helping moderate and keep trollers off of our YouTube community because they're out there and they're trolling and they're crazy. So anyway, thanks you guys. Have a fabulous Easter holiday and I will see you on Monday. All right, Instagram is done. Thanks you guys. I am grateful for your time and I will see each and every one of you on Monday. Yay! And I have to put out some video this weekend, so stay tuned. At some point, I will get some energy to do that. All right, you guys, bye.